How are you guys? It's Jasmine Brooks live inside the control center tonight, and we are here on 21 Next, beginning with Tom Russell. Our chief meteorologist is here because, Tom, the storms are talking from State College to Pittsburgh to Sunbury, where we actually have some really strong video.
Yeah, we've been sharing that video tonight on our social media. Partial building collapse. That's what you see here at the very beginning of the loop. But then it goes down the street. There's the partial building collapse. So you're talking about a brick building. So it's no weak structure. And obviously taking out that whole side. And then as we let the video roll, you'll see some of these large trees on that very same neighborhood, power lines down. There's a lot of power outages in and around Center County and beyond. But as you mentioned, Jasmine, these started out in the western part of the state, worked their way through the Pittsburgh area, then to Altoona, then to State College, and then hitting Sunbury. And that's the video you're seeing here. I have another graphic for you that can show you all the wind reports. So see all those little icons, little broken trees? Those are wind reports. Wind damage or some gusty winds. The peak wind gust we saw was 68 miles per hour in and around the State College area. And then you see how it's kind of off to our north and west. So McVeigh, some areas in Mifflin and Juniata counties being affected. As far as rainfall, the threat is over as far as severe weather, a couple of lingering showers, but there's a lot of cleanup. And as I mentioned, Jasmine, a lot of power outages.
Wow, Tom. Okay, and so looking ahead, there's going to be a lot of cleanup here.
Yeah, unfortunately, some pretty quiet weather over the next couple of days. Our next chance for any rain will come later in the day, Thursday, linger into Friday, and unfortunately, Saturday. You see the big jump from the 80s on Friday to much cooler over the weekend. So, yeah, we got a couple of days to clean things up, but there is the potential, and the National Weather Service will have to determine this, of a possible tornado as you kind of followed that path a little bit through State College and Center County. So we'll see what happens with the light of day tomorrow. But unfortunately, yeah, a lot of cleanup going on.
Tom, we're going to move on to wildfires. Anything you can help add with that? We saw really bad ones in our area of central Pennsylvania.
Yeah, fortunately, they're getting them contained, but I want to emphasize that the fire danger, the threat is still very high, especially now that this front comes through tonight. We're drier again tomorrow. We're dry for most of Thursday, and eventually as these winds pick up, tomorrow's gonna be a pretty windy day. So my urging is that folks be really careful with any cigarette butts, an old flame of any kind, of campfire, whatever. We do see a little more rain Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday, so that will help. But what we really need, Jasmine, is a good soaking rain, and I just don't see that, more of the scattered shower variety.
And we just saw more than 2,700 acres burn.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is nature's way of cleaning out that underbrush. In this case, we still don't know what started it, but a lot of times lightning could start this. Not in this case, but what that does, guys, is it kind of cleans up the forest floor, which is actually a good thing. We don't want anybody's home or to be in danger, but this is nature's way of cleaning out the bottom. It actually returns nitrogen to the soil, so there are some benefits to letting this burn out as long as you keep it under control.
All right, Tom, thanks so much. From wildfires to a barn fire, it happened last night, and we are just getting in some incredible pictures of this barn fire. Check it out, because it was a 2-alarm fire overnight in York County, and these are the massive flames you're seeing on your screen right now. So this is actually York Township, York County. We're talking just after 9 o'clock on Monday night. And, a dispatcher said that firefighters arrived on the scene, and that house was just engulfed in flames. Multiple fire agencies, of course, had to respond to this one, and crews worked for hours to really put that all out. We don't know what caused it yet. The American Red Cross is, helping out, but a house and a barn on fire, and these are the incredible pictures coming to you out of York County tonight. Well, if you've been, paying attention, it is now President Trump's 100th day on the job. And so CBS 21 was breaking that down, what it looked like when it comes to DEI, what it looks like when it comes to tariffs and immigration. And so we kind of scattered our reporters out today to cover each angle and bring to you the latest updates on that. But what I can tell you is his presidency has been polarizing, and he has been aggressive during these 100 days, whether you love what he did and got the job done or hate it. He has definitely, has Pennsylvanians polarized as well. And so we got the pulse of Pennsylvania today. So first and foremost, institutions like the United States Army War College and programs associated with the NAACP have been impacted by Trump's executive orders, and he signed multiple orders, executive orders, dealing with DEI in the public and the private sectors. And yes, you know, some love it, some hate it. And so we did talk to the NAACP to kind of get their views on this and how they feel about it. But as far as President Trump says, he thinks the initiatives will, quote, bring back common sense to the country based on merit and intelligence. Also, we talked to locals about the tariffs. We talked to a salon owner. So first and foremost, her salon just caught fire a few days ago. So now she needs to rebuild. Also, she needs to restock because she lost all of her product. Well, her product comes from overseas, and her lumber is coming from Canada. And so tariffs on those products are really putting her in a bind, and she's feeling it and she's nervous about it. And she talked to us. Her story's at CBS21.com. So tariffs was another thing we covered today. And then, of course, ICE raids. They've taken place in the last 100 days throughout the entire country, but specifically here in central Pennsylvania, we've seen some that were kind of viral. I mean, one man getting arrested by ICE, right? Detained by ICE in York County, that really resonated with people as he's screaming for help, you know, and that his wife is pregnant. It was very dramatic, and it caught a lot of people's attention, right? And we learned that he was, you know, being arrested for criminal charges, serious charges. And so, you know, as you look more into some of these arrests, you learn more. This specific man charged with statutory rape in this case. And then we covered extensively the Bhutanese immigrants charged with crimes in the past, but they were deported last month. And so we were keeping track of that. And, you know, while President Trump is proud of these accomplishments, we did talk locally to Dauphin County Commissioner Justin Douglas, who had a lot to say about this and just doesn't think necessarily that this is the way to treat people. It's not being done necessarily in the right way. And so you can hear all of Douglas's thoughts at CBS21.com. Andrew Klein sat down with him today, and he gave us a lot of information and feeling on how he is dealing with this and representing the people of Dauphin County specifically. So we bring it to a local level there. But I want to end with this because we talked to a mother. She's recovering. She has 2 children, and she was hit by a car in Franklin County. And so it happened Friday. And what's so remarkable is that the people around her in her life are really rallying, and they've raised like over $30,000. Her GoFundMe is doing well. How is she doing? Well, she was literally hit by a car. Okay, so you can see 32,000. So anyway, her name is Margot Cook, as you can see there. And so she was crossing an intersection in Greencastle, coming from a softball game, and she was hit. She's recovering from not just a crushed leg, but a brain bleed. And really, after working with children for over a decade, she is loved in her community. And so parents have really stepped up to support her. And if you'd like to learn more about Margot's story, this mom of 2, she can be found at CBS21.com. And I encourage you to, you know, check that out as well. So those are some of the top stories in the news, with weather being on the top of the list tonight. If you would like to follow along, please join us every single night here on Facebook and YouTube. Join 21X by subscribing, give us a like, comment on the post, and join me every single night. And of course, you can catch me at 10 and 11 as well. I'm Jasmine Brooks. Thanks so much for watching 21X. We'll see you next time. Bye.